does everybody feel about Rhea Ripley right now? And I noticed something. As I tread through the swamps and I entered into the caves of the IWC is outright calling Rhea Ripley the worst WWE Women's Champion of all time.
Second thing I want to talk about, and I'm going to talk about this knowing that NXT starts in about an hour from when I started this podcast. So this could all be mute after I say it, but I'm going to say it. I'll put it on the internet, and then people can tell me I'm wrong if I'm wrong. But my boy Mike inside the Discord hit me with this, hit me with a theory that I'm gonna lead this into. We'll get there. Follow me here. So we learned on Monday Night Raw that Rhea Ripley does not have a match at SummerSlam. Okay? We learned at Monday Night Raw that Raquel Rodriguez, the most fragile superstar in the WWE, is hurt again. So now with Liv Morgan hurt, Raquel Rodriguez hurt, this left Rhea Ripley out on an island. And I think this is interesting because I got onto Twitter last night. I jumped into some of the forums last night. I tried to take the temperature of the world to see what does everybody feel about Rhea Ripley right now. And I noticed something. As I tread through the swamps and I entered into the caves of the IWC, I noticed a trend. The IWC is relishing this moment. The IWC is enjoying the fact that Rhea Ripley is not on the SummerSlam card. The IWC is outright calling Rhea Ripley the worst WWE Women's Champion of all time. That's not my words. That's what the IWC is saying. And as I dug through these threads that they were creating, I noticed a trend. They like to talk about Rhea Ripley only has 2 meaningful title defenses since she won the title at WrestleMania. It's hard to argue with that. It is hard to argue with that. Then the second argument they made was, explain to me what Rhea Ripley is currently doing that she couldn't be doing without a title belt. It's hard to argue with that. Those are 2 strong points by the IWC that at first had me a little bit tongue-tied. I don't know what to say. But then I thought deeper. And I thought about Roman Reigns. And I thought about the criticism that Roman Reigns takes. And I thought about MJF and some of the criticism that MJF takes. And I thought, do we have an expectation of champions defending their belt? Is that expectation? Do we set that too high? What is the correct amount of times that somebody should defend their belt in a calendar year? In a quarter of a year? Once? 4 times a year? It's weird because when you break it down differently, is it once a month? Should a champion defend their belt 12 times a year? That seems excessive. I don't think they have to do it at every premium live event. Every other one, 6 times a year. It's hard to say, but I do think that after a lot of thought, I think we have to stop judging title reigns by the number of defenses and more just about the importance of what that WWE superstar or AEW wrestler is doing. There's no doubt in my mind right now, Rhea Ripley is the number 1 star in WWE. I believe this wholeheartedly. After going to American Bash, I believe this wholeheartedly. I've taken polls within the CWC. Rhea Ripley came out number 1 over Roman Reigns. Now, I get Roman Reigns is the main attraction, but Rhea Ripley is the fan favorite. And so the reality is, yeah, what could she be doing right now that she couldn't do? What is she doing right now that she couldn't do without the title? Probably nothing. But everything she's doing right now is just heightened a little bit because she is the champion. Her bringing that title out at American Bash, it just adds a level of elevation to the Judgment Day. Her holding that title after she beats up Raquel Rodriguez, forcing her not to be on SummerSlam, it just elevates that a little bit. I think the bigger question that has to be asked is, there's nobody stepping up enough to really present a credible threat to Rhea Ripley at SummerSlam. You know, outside of Becky Lynch, outside of Bianca, Charlotte, Asuka, maybe Raquel Rodriguez, there's nobody on the roster that presents a credible threat. So there's a part of me that goes, maybe the best decision was don't have Rhea Ripley wrestle at SummerSlam. But I will say, this argument from the IWC, it's extremely one-sided. It's not fair because in one breath, they will tell you about Rhea Ripley, but in the second breath, they will tell you how MJF is the greatest AEW champion of all time, and that's just not a fair argument. The reality is, I judge wrestling. This is how I judge wrestling. I judge it by, it's an eye test, right? I look around. Whose t-shirt is selling? It's Rhea Ripley's. Who's getting the TV screen time? Rhea Ripley is all over that television. Who is doing things and trend setting? Rhea Ripley is at American Bash slamming Wesley through a table. Like, that's just reality. And where I overreact for LA Knight, I don't have a worry for Rhea Ripley at SummerSlam. Rhea Ripley will be involved heavily in whatever the Judgment Day is involved in. That's where Rhea will be. And I have some things I want to talk about when we get to the predictions of the show, but I have a major prediction for Rhea Ripley.
Step in the ring, if you ready, let's go. Hey, casual wrestling community show. You already know, talking WWE. Keep it rolling and hosted by Notorious NerdyD. Dope a show that you gon' find. Tune in cause it's online. Hit 'em with a figure 4 leg lock, power driver or clothesline. We bringing that heat like the show. But you